Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. Welcome back to Valorant news and an unbelievable day in the Valorant world. So much to talk about. We've got roster changes happening, new teams, surprise teams qualifying for Masters, and the Tarik versus JasonR drama we've got to talk about as well. But very much intrigued to your thoughts and all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. Thanks a lot for 12k subs as well. Probably already thank you guys for that. But yeah, appreciate it again. Firstly, some potential roster moves. We believe wardell to 100 Thieves is a very realistic possibility. He announces yesterday officially he's a free agent looking for an organization to represent. So maybe they're going to hit up the DMs and make something happen there. It makes sense probably for all parties, to be honest. That is, of course, the going rumor, but it might take him a fair bit of time to get all this type of stuff locked in. Now, of course, he left TSM, right? Decided to leave, didn't want to move to Texas, and Elgato now says, I'm definitely giving smokes a go. So potentially, they obviously got to find a fifth to come into their team and maybe switching some roles around. Very interestingly, babybay says the following: today I'll be moving to Texas to put myself in the environment to be the best Valorant player I can be. Of course, TSM also moving to Texas as of late. You've also got to consider the fact that Corey is now on TSM, a former teammate of babybay on the FaZe days. So, it's not out of the realms of possibility that babybay ends up on TSM right after getting kicked from 100 Thieves. It seems to be a move that makes a fair bit of sense if you swap the roles around a little bit. Maybe they can make it work. Not really sure, not the perfect replacement, of course, for Wardell, but maybe they can change the roles around and make that happen there. It might not work, but maybe they can give it a go. So we'll see how things go on the TSM front, but that's kind of the roster stuff. Well, actually, not the roster stuff done with yet, because we wanted to mention this from NRG. They, of course, made it to the challenger side. They didn't make it to the playoffs, unfortunately. They had a pretty tough time. Pretty sure they won one series at the end of it, and there was some talk, actually, before their final series, that FaZe was considering whether he was going to stay on the team, like, was he going to step back, this type of stuff. I honestly think he did a pretty good job with this team, all things considered. They looked like a scary squad. Like, NRG put up a good fight in pretty much every single series they played. They just didn't often get over the line, but giving it another stage and maybe they get back to the kind of form where they can actually compete with the best of the best teams, given where they came from, I thought they were pretty good, all things considered. Now, apparently sources with George Geddes from Purist, FaZe has taken a step back from the Valorant roster. He'll be exploring options moving forwards and is open to coaching. Now, FaZe is not so convinced this is actually true. Now, sometimes players, like when something like this comes out, they'll reply kind of implying that this isn't true, but it actually is. But still, in this case, it doesn't really seem like it is, just because FaZe says immediately afterwards, sources must have been heavily medicated. Like, I'm just laughing about it. All the pros came in the reply saying, like, okay, what are you thinking about, mate? Like, this article is basically just completely wrong. So who knows what happens? But FaZe doesn't reckon it's true. And as FaZe says, according to sources, I'm not an LRG. According to the same source, I'm totally stuck. More info to come. So he just reckons this is not true at all. He's going to stay on the roster. But still, who knows what happens there? I thought NRG were pretty good, to be honest, with FaZe. I thought it was worth another go running it back. The open qualifiers begin, May the 5th or something, to get into the second round of challenges. I think they can put up a bigger fight next time around with a bit more experience and practice on the roster. But we've got to talk about some of the games that went down last night, because I didn't actually realize these were best of fives, for the important games towards the end of the tournament. I will say, though, that the format of these tournaments does always surprise me, or kind of frustrate me to a degree, because the matches that are going on now, like for example this one, G2 versus Fnatic, this should be an incredibly crucial game, right? It's to qualify for the grand finals, to try and win the region, right, and become the region champion, but it doesn't feel the same, because yes, it's online, and also because the main matches and the main hype around the matches is qualification for Masters. Now both of these teams qualified, it all of a sudden seems to have much less meaning. I don't know if you guys kind of agree with me on that, but it feels like as the tournament progresses, the matches should get more and more meaningful, whereas that's just not the case in this format. But anyway, G2 just dominate this series. I was incredibly impressed with them. Fnatic are kind of strange, right? Because after they beat M3C, after they beat Gambit, former Gambit, they were honestly looking like the best team in the world. Then the very next day, they get 13-0'd by FPX, and then they got 3-0'd comfortably by G2. This was a dominant series victory for G2. Yes, both of these teams are still going to go to Masters, but yeah, if you're Fnatic, you're thinking, wow, what happened here? We got demolished. Breeze was 13-9, Icebox 30-2, Ascent 13-10. Not even close. A best of 5 that went down very quickly indeed. G2, what a run they have made. They're going to be in the grand finals against FPX coming up later today to determine right now the best team in EMEA. G2, from where they were to make the run they've had, especially with mixwell back in and keylogg's gone, pretty sure they weren't even going to bring mixwell back into the team rights unless keylogg's decided to leave to Heretics. Now he's probably looking back and thinking, well, maybe regretting his decision to some degree. Overall series stats mean, look, Nuki once again plus 31. This guy's genuinely out of control, but all the guys played well on this team. Let's talk North America then. To the Guard last night, they played, of course, up against Cloud9, the lower bracket match, a best of 5. I thought it was going to go down to the wire this series, but the Guard, honestly, I was wondering, okay, could they really bounce back from the Optic series? Would they have the composure that we talked about yesterday? That's exactly what they have, right? I was so impressed with the Guards. I wanted them to win this. I really did. I thought the storyline with this team is just so good, and so good for like young up-and-coming Valorant players get picked up in the kind of grassroots of the scene, and picking up players from Overwatch and all across the park, and an organization that didn't even exist a few months ago, and they come in here against Cloud9 and really get the job done. I mean, Sire player on the Jets, like what a player. That he's just so much fun to watch on the Jet. I mean, the kills just come through in spades. And early on, I mean, this game was incredibly back and forth here on the Icebox. This felt like it was going to set the tone for the series, and it felt like to me that, okay, like if one team is going to clutch up here, it's probably going to be Cloud9 with the experience they have, but it goes all the way to overtime. Like at this point, it's 15-15. It almost was going to be 16-16, but the Guard win in the end. They get the bomb down. They win it 17-15, and they take the overtime. And that honestly is so crucial for momentum, right? Do you win this game on a long, grueling game one? If you lose a grueling game one like this in a best of 5, like that's just tough for you mentally, right? And that's probably what happened here to Cloud9. They go down on the Icebox. They then go to the Haven, and this is where the Guard honestly go to a new level. Like this was the final round of the half. Could have been to make it 7-5 for Cloud9, but Net clutches a ridiculous 1v3, comes through the smoke with a classic, gets the burst kill, and with 2 HP on the board, and yeah, 8-4. That really set them up for a nice little second half. They win that one as well. 12-5 it was at this point, and a 4K from Trent right to the end of the game. Like yeah, this guy's honestly just out of control. He gets kills for fun, and yeah, Cloud9 go down. Mitch can't do anything about this one. 13-5, dominant performance. At 2-0, you're thinking, wow, this could be over. Cloud9 coming into this tournament probably almost certainly as the favourites, right, to qualify for Masters. They of course dropped down after their defeat to Optic. Optic took out the Guard to get the first qualification spot yesterday. Cloud9 took down version 1, but it's not enough against the Guard in a best of 5. It goes to split, and early on it was Cloud9 with a pretty significant advantage here. They had an 8-3 advantage on their defensive side, but some nice kills from Net right here get the job done, and yeah, the Guard win it around that they arguably should not have won to make it 8-4, and that was crucial down the stretch because they took their momentum, won some of the early couple of rounds as well, and they started bringing this all the way back. At this point it's 9-9, the defuse comes through, Valorant gets the job done with a great 3k on the site, and then well, that helps close out this round, and at this point it felt like, wow, the Guard are actually going to win this. What is going on? I am, coming into the series, I was hoping they would. I'm not sure, I wasn't sure they would, to be perfectly honest. I thought Cloud9 were just going to have too much in the tank, but that's not how it goes down, and Trent and the boys Guard to Iceland. Who would have thought it? GG's 3-0 Cloud9, deserve to be here. My team is insane, love everyone, so just fantastic to see. The storyline is fantastic. Feel bad for the Cloud9 guys, but yeah, Guard to Master as well. What a story, and I can't wait to see how they'll fare against international competition as well. It's super cool, and as Vanity says, GG's 0-3, not much to say. They're the better team and are putting in a ton of work, and it shows. And that's the thing actually from Matthew Elmore, right, the head coach of the Guards, says the amount of scrims they've been playing, 225 scrims since the start of the year, on top of tournaments and qualifiers, so incredibly proud of the guys and the work they've put in, so awesome to see. The storyline is fantastic, so inspiring, I'm sure, for an upcoming kind of generation of Valorant players, that they can come in as a team that's kind of, well, completely unknown a few months ago, and actually qualify for Masters, and take down some of the best teams in the world doing it. None of the Cloud9 guys really showed up. Leaf had some decent moments, but yeah, I mean, Trent, Valen, Sire player again, they dominated. Net showed up when he needed to as well, and Yona P did his job most certainly. I mean, look at this, 17-5 on the Icebox, such a critical map for them to win, 13-5, 30-10 in the end for the Guard as well. So what a performance from them. They go all the way. Valen on the Omen as well was an absolute monster. And this is, of course, the brackets. These two teams, Optic and the Guard, will be the ones to qualify to go all the way to Masters. They will, of course, play later today to determine the region champion. But as I say again, like, there's a lot on the line in that series, right, to determine who's the best team in North America. But it's kind of all about qualifying for Masters at the end of the day. This also to mention, because with these 6 teams, or these 5 teams now qualifying, Fnatic, FPX, G2 from Europe, Optic and the Guard from North America, there's still teams to be determined from Korea, Japan, Brazil, Latin America, and also a last chance qualifier. But the 2 teams from the APAC playoffs have also been confirmed. Paper Rex, a mix of Indonesian, I guess Singaporean and Malaysian players, they qualify. Like a massive surprise, they made it all the way to the grand final through the winners bracket. Then Xerxia Esports, right, after that kind of controversy that went down where they got forfeited a series, the former X10 Crit team that now got bought out by this organization, they make it as well. So it's a very touch and go situation, but these 2 teams from the APAC region, plus the other 5 we looked at, will be going to Masters. Other teams to be determined here over the coming days. We've got to talk about this as well before we close out the video. I didn't really touch on the JasonR stuff the first time round because, okay, he's like a personality within the scene, but when something is popping off this much within kind of the Valorant culture in general, it's definitely worth talking about. Everyone was jumping on the bandwagon here. Tarik versus JasonR, Zulsus in the call. Effectively, if you guys aren't familiar with the story, JasonR's been accused of, like, whenever he gets into a queue with a woman in the lobby, and even though he says that his wife has nothing to do with this, apparently maybe she does, but effectively he'll just, like, disconnect and pretend that his game crashed or something, and it, well, just refuses to play with them. Now, of course, Tarik is in the call. JasonR, I guess they go way back, right? And JasonR's basically saying to Tarik, look, can you just defend me on this issue? I guess he wants Tarik to kind of say something like, oh yeah, JasonR, he's not a misogynist or something, but Tarik is not willing to do so. He doesn't fall into the trap, and he says, look, it doesn't matter if you're my friend or not my friend. If I don't agree with like what's going on, if I don't agree with your perspective, then I'm not going to defend you, right? It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter if it's Stewie2K. Like, you know, if I don't agree with the whole situation, I'm not going to be able to defend you. So I'll show a couple of clips for you guys from this. Like, honestly, very entertaining stuff. A decent summary right here is that JasonR said, you're basically an L friend. You blew up and care about viewership. You hung out with me and my wife. You should have told people we're not like that. And Tarik says, I stick with my bros, respect your personal reasons, but I won't defend you because I disagree with you on this issue. So I'll share the clips. The funny one really is when he tells Tarik, like, you're basically acting like a girl while he's trying to convince everyone he's not a sexist.
And you are supposed to be a friend of mine.
But I don't agree with it. There's no friendship about it. I'm not talking about you.
Okay, no, hear me out. You want to know something? Over the course of 2 years of Valorant, I have played with multiple women. I play with my wife. I play unrated with girls. There's VODs out there. I'm not going to go out and search for these because these random people who absolutely
you should 100% defend your name and your matter. If you don't agree with it, then defend it. But this is where things lie. Like there's been clips. It's gotten to the point where it's everyone kind of, it's already the general opinion. That's where things stand. And look, 100%. I don't have anything against you personally, but
character witnesses
what are
not misogynist, but you chose to be a girl about it and just wouldn't say shit to me.
Community, and it's something that is controversial and that might result in me getting controversial opinions as well. That if I agree with them, I wouldn't support them on their side and be like, yo, you guys shouldn't be doing this. But I would. If my friend, if Stu, if everyone was ganging up on Stu for some bullshit that I don't agree with and it's stupid as, I would be like, yo, this is stupid as, I don't agree with it. You guys are wrong. But I can't do that. How do you expect me to do that if I'm not agreeing with what's happening? I've already explained that, though. We're kind of going in circle. I've already said this many times.
We have.
So this is the only thing that Tarik tweets out, kind of just to bring this all to a head, but it's such BS to paint the image that viewership is the reason that I don't back up a homie or support a friend in something controversial. I don't care about that. If I agree with your POV, I'll 100% back you up. Why support something I disagree with? So that's what Tarik has to say. Like, look, petty drama, but everyone was getting on the bandwagon, and it was good last night entertainment, to be honest, for a lot of the professional scene, as well as Leaf says. Thank God this argument is happening, so people that forget that we lost 3-0 to the Guards, but it did indeed happen. Very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit in a like button. Tell us YouTube gods, this is a good video. Others like you should see it as well, and upgrade the competitive Valorant community. Thank you for watching as always. Take care, and I will see you next time.